welcome to a very special Game Buzz Extra. I'm Matt Gardner, I'm joined once again by Carl Phillips. And by Jonathan Lester.
Hello.
And today we're going to be diving into a single day. Well, actually 2 days, technically. We're going to be diving into the E3 press conferences and Nintendo Direct. And at the end of today's show, we will determine who won E3.
Yes, because there's nothing like completely meaningless and specious things to argue about to get lovely hits. To have lots of interesting debates.
That's what E3 is all about, though, right? It's all about like getting mass. It's all about lights and action and craziness and hype and completely redundant questions like who won it. So yes, of course we're going to answer that question. Before we do, guys, what did you want to see out of this year's E3? Like, press conference day is always a bit of a special day. Like, we always get announcements and surprises, and it's always quite exciting. What did you guys want to see going in?
Well, I wanted to see new Crackdown, and I wanted to see X, and I sort of got to see both of those things, only in kind of aggravatingly non-gameplay, quite far away CG trailer format.
There was a lot of CG this year.
But on the other hand, you know, got to see Rainbow Six, so that's always good.
How about you, Carl?
I wanted a reason to be excited about buying something. Really, I think that was the thing that I took away from when we were doing all of our pre-E3 stuff. I wanted to be excited.
I'm kind of with you on that because I've got my PS4. Like Microsoft and Nintendo especially, I was like, right, impress me. Give me the reason, because I was on the edge with both of them, and I was like, give me a reason to slap down some cash this year. And that's important because, John, you've just written an article basically saying that, like, I mean, I think we're all in agreement here. We wanted stuff in 2014. We wanted a reason to be excited for stuff this coming autumn and winter. It wasn't a huge amount of that. A lot of stuff seemed geared more towards like next year.
That's very true, but on the other hand, that is the perfect segue, I think, to leap straight into the Microsoft presser.
It is indeed.
Because the one thing Microsoft, starting off slow, setting the scene, I thought that Phil Spencer actually did a really good job this year.
Yep.
Like, he promised games. He promised that he wouldn't get bogged down in flam, and to their credit, they delivered a really muscular, really solid, perhaps a little stodgy in places, but otherwise laser-focused presentation that was just about games. They really delivered on that. And for me, the hype, because in most years they get bogged down in talking about services and stuff, and Sony steals all their hype at the end of the day, but I was still excited about some of their big reveals at sort of 5 a.m. That very rarely happens at E3. I thought Spencer did a great job.
It's never happened for me with a Microsoft presser. I've never been sort of predominantly still riding a Microsoft high at the end of press conference day. But yeah, like you said, I really was. I think like going in, like we knew Chief was going to be appearing, but crucially we didn't kind of know what form that would take. We didn't know if it would just be sort of Halo 2 Anniversary standalone. We got the Master Chief Collection in the end, and we got Halo, like getting Halo 2 getting
Halo
Anniversary.
Halo the all of it edition.
That's the thing. Like I said, right, Microsoft, I want you to give me a Halo multiplayer experience this Christmas, and they're giving us 100 legacy maps and Halo 5 Guardians beta.
Yeah, it's don't get me wrong, I own all of those games already, and we could play all those games already. But 4,000 gamer score, yeah! But it's a really lovely collection. I mean, when you look at some of the HD or next-gen revamps, I mean, this one, I've never seen anything like this. And more to the point, I've never been happier to be dead wrong about what it was supposed to contain.
Yeah.
Because I really predicted that it was just going to be Halo 2, and then the other games you'd have to buy separately, and the whole thing would cost about £100. That's not happening. We're getting the whole lot. That's awesome. And it was just, for me, it was just the start of a lot of really exciting games that Microsoft have locked down for this year. I thought of all the publishers, Microsoft did a fantastic job of saying, our console is the one that you want to be playing right now. Our console is the one you want to be playing come October, November, December. Because Sunset Overdrive, bit smug, perhaps, little bit smug. But the gameplay,
putting it lightly, I think.
Yeah. Let's have a little chat about this because Carl, you weren't enormously impressed with the dude bro smugness.
No, not at all. I mean, I know, yes, the character that was shown isn't necessarily the character you will play, but I don't know. It just it just all seemed a little too forced. And this is coming from someone who really, really does like Insomniac stuff. I mean, I think the problem is we were burnt too much with Fuse. And now they're coming out and taking the piss out of cover-based shooters when Fuse was wasn't that a cover-based shooter? That really annoyed me actually, because it was kind of like saying, yes, you could say, oh, it's them poking a bit of fun at themselves, but I didn't see it that way. I saw it as just sorry.
I totally agree with you. But after, I was really excited. I thought the gameplay was great, but I thought that whole introduction should have been canned in favor of just showing us more gameplay, like double the length of gameplay.
Oh, absolutely.
However, looking back on it, I do think that actually, well, partly we're just so close to it. We're games writers. We deal with a lot of hypocritical boasts all the time. We're kind of jaded about that whole side of things. But I think it's actually just a cultural difference. Because by and large, all of the American pundits and most of the American gamers I've seen talk about the event, so talking about that presentation, say it really resonated with them. It was brash, it was anarchic, it was cool. But us Brits, we don't like that. We like underdogs, and we hate smugness. We like seeing arrogant people like that, get taken down a peg. So I think that I just don't think it translated very well.
Well, I don't know. I quite like Nathan Drake as a character, and he's smug to the core. But yeah, I will get into this later on. But I think there was another example of colourful fun that was done far better. But yes, I mean, yeah, it looks fun. It looks like, the sort of thing that the Xbox One definitely needs in terms of multiplayer stuff. But yeah, I would
multiplayer stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that I was won over.
I was completely won over by the whole thing. And the first thing I said right at the end of the Microsoft press conference.
I'm talking specifically about Sunset Overdrive there, not necessarily Microsoft.
Well, okay. Well, let's carry on then. Let's look at the thing they announced at the end, because we'd hoped it was coming. Phil Spencer's been dropping teasers about it, like left, right, and center. We're finally gonna have Crackdown.
Yeah, and that's all we know. And you know what? I will be amazed if that level of environmental destruction makes it into the game. I don't see why it couldn't. Earth Defense Force managed it. Earth Defense Force is a game on that sort of scale where you can blow up every building. I don't see why Crackdown shouldn't be able to handle it. It should be possible. Whether it will happen is another thing entirely. But yeah, Crackdown is happening. We're all pleased. We don't know dick all about it, but at least we've got I liked. Yeah, that was the thing about the Microsoft presser. There was a lot of CG. I really would have loved to have seen a little more gameplay of a few of these projects, especially Platinum Scalebound. Because, ridiculous Dr. Dre beats headphones aside. The idea of a Platinum-developed Monster Hunter meets Dragon's Dogma is like crack to me. All of those things. That's like my perfect storm of gaming. Right, that's like the Venn. I'm right in the middle of that Venn diagram.
Yeah. Plus, we just need to point out that, and hats off to Platinum, they did not forget about Dre, and that is very, very important.
They did
Absolutely.
They did not.
Dre. Oh man.
So,
yeah, and there's a strong case to say that Platinum won E3 as well, because man, that Bayonetta collection's looking great. We'll get onto that.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I was more interested in. I love Crackdown, but we're gonna have to wait and see on that one.
I'd like to make a point before we move on from that. Talking about the just being a very multiplayer centric side of the thing of Crackdown, and it being made by the original developers, who were responsible for APB All Points Bulletin. I reckon that it's going to be basically the game they wished that had been. Personally,
but with more,
we'll need to
like
see.
Ridiculous throwing cars at people.
Oh yeah. Which makes
and
sense.
then get into the car, and the car transforms into a ridiculous machine gun tank.
Well, yeah.
Right before your eyes. But yeah, I mean, bringing it back to the 2014 games, they revealed some really interesting looking stuff, like Forza Horizon 2. We knew was coming, but that looks great. Open world driver tires has become the dumbest jargon of the show so far, but it'll be interesting to see how they get adaptive AI into a big fat open world, or if they just phase into existence during races, which will almost certainly happen. But that looks great. Really nice scenery. Cool, like dynamic weather. It's about time that came to the series. And then they just kept revealing stuff like Ori and the Blind Forest looks kick-ass. God damn, that looks beautiful. That's coming this year. I feel I may just end up buying the soundtrack rather than pre-ordering the game, but that looks absolutely fantastic. There's a couple of things happening with Connect, which was kind of the ghost of the feast of this whole conference, like Disney Fantasia, Music Evolved, the game that literally no one asked for, but it's nice that someone's making it. Dance Central Spotlight, a game that's actually I think could be really fun. It's just, I feel they should have pushed it a little bit more, especially since Ubisoft just like forgot that Kinect existed and said, "Oh, hey guys, you can play next gen Just Dance on your phone," rather than showing off like Kinect and how that could bring something to the experience. But there's also going to be Project Spark. There's going to be Killer Instinct Season 2, and we're going to be able to get a taste of Fable Legends' extraordinarily poor voice acting in a multiplayer beta as well.
Yeah,
and that's not
Gears of
including all the
Fable.
third parties. That's not including all the third parties as well. The early Kevin Spacey laser face mech explosion, the Assassin's Creed Unity, whatever it is, we'll get to that. Grand Theft Auto 5, yay. But yeah, I think we can all agree that basically CD Projekt won E3 again.
Do you know what? I mean, this is the thing. I thought Microsoft, for the first time in ages, just had an incredibly well balanced presser. Like, we had the exclusives. They hit their audience, right from the start. Call of Duty first on Xbox One, and we kind of laugh at that, but it's super important. It's really super important. The people that buy Call of Duty every year, the people that really only buy Call of Duty, the only game they really buy every year, that's super important. Being first is crucial. And I thought Microsoft got to their audience really quickly, nailed it, and then delivered variation, diversity, and kind of like quite an interesting gaming lineup.
Yeah, many of which are due this year.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, they had to cripple the Xbox 360's exclusive lineup in 2013 to deliver on that. That was a shame that they had to do that. But, we're going into a new generation. It's going to be nice that we've got stuff to play and a few cool exclusive things to play this year as well. I thought it was strong, solid, good fundamentals, really nice start for new boy Spencer as well. You can see that his tenure as, the Xbox games guy is really coming to the fore in his new role. I really like that. It's really nice to see a company being led by someone who, shock horror, is passionate about games rather than demonic lizard businessman.
Yep,
like
right.
Matrix.
So, in the spirit of completely arbitrary things, let's give this a score out of 10. Yes.
I give it wristband out of 10.
That's a cop out. I need a number.
Because those wristband looked really cool.
I need a number.
No, you don't. We'll
Yes,
do that at the end.
Yes, I need a number. I need a number for press conferences. Give me a number.
7.
Carl.
Oh, I was going to give a 7, but I don't think I was necessarily as excited as you. So on that basis, I'm going to give it a 6.
Well, I'm going to give it an 8. And so that means out to a 7. Splendid stuff. 7 out of 10. Microsoft. Awesome. Right, EA were up next. Let's
Okay, so Ubisoft were pretty great, weren't they? Yeah. That was hilarious this year. EA were just caught with their pants down. They had nothing to show because their big reveal, the one big thing that they wanted to absolutely steal the show with, was leaked. Battlefield Hardline. We all ended up knowing about that kind of last week.
Yeah.
And they had to sort of panic to try and work out how they were going to rework their presser. And they did great with announcing the beta. That was really cool. The whole community thing was awesome. They did a really good job of doing the best with what they had on that front. But with their big surprise totally declawed, they just don't have anything ready. They didn't have anything ready to show.
No. No,
but,
it was a massive snooze fest. The one thing they did have, and this would have been massive if Hardline had been a surprise, was the sup beta now mic drop. That would have been enormous. I mean, it was still pretty big, but yeah, imagine that as a surprise. That would have been lovely. It still is lovely. You can play it right now, but it was a flat, damp squib of a press conference, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. So we're giving that.
Okay then.
As Carl wants to talk about it.
Carl,
No,
Carl,
no,
Carl,
no,
do
we're
you
done.
wanna
We're
talk
done.
about
Let's
it?
move on. No.
Carl
Do
wants
you
to
want
talk
to
about
give the
Mass
score,
Effect.
Carl? Do you want to give the score?
No, because I wouldn't be able to justify it. So let's just carry on. 4, maybe 5. No, 5. 5.
Oh, that's 3.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah. Carl, do you want to talk about Mass Effect?
There wasn't really that much to show apart from the fact that we're going somewhere new, which I
Hooray.
called, and I'm very glad they are.
Sweet.
Cha-ching!
Undisputed. Well, sorry, no. I was about to say Undisputed 3. No, UFC looks about the same as THQ's effort, which makes me wonder what the hell, boring.
Yeah, but emotional.
with
But
add
emotional
Bruce
FIFA
Lee.
impact. Emotional FIFA.
Emotional Bruce Lee.
Oh, emotions in sports. What the hell were they doing with that? Seriously. What the hell? Criterion stuff. Now that looks cool. I'm like, obviously we need to see more stuff based on it, but that looked pretty awesome. If they can get the slickness between like gliding through the air and then landing on a bike and stuff like that, that's gonna be pretty sweet.
Do they even have a name for that though? Because
No.
I agree with you. I'm quite excited for that. That was quite a nice little video. But I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm really excited for
That game. But yeah, there are two things that they got hugely, hugely wrong, and I'm afraid we are going to have to address it. One being the Sims 4 presentation. I just didn't know what to do at that point. I mean, I know that it wasn't aimed at people such as ourselves, but when you consider the fact that the entire audience is made up of us, then you are doing it wrong, EA. And also, whoever let those woo girls into the EA presser, don't ever let them come back again. That was horribly
I feel like also Andrew Wilson's wardrobe guy and Taylor, like he looked like a vampire cyborg.
It was.
He looks like a sort of like kind of megalomaniacal supervillain that I imagine lives in the Shard.
Or at EA headquarters. He looked like the CEO of EA.
He was harnessing. He was harnessing Wesker, I feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Just missing the sunglasses, but yeah, he was really going for that sort of.
I gotta say as well. Next year, EA, I kind of feel like EA Sports could do with their own press conference because they're huge and they've got a big audience, a huge audience, millions of games worldwide who are super excited to hear loads of details. And it's become clear that trying to balance that with also a hardcore gaming presentation and trying to make a presentation for everyone just ends up with a kind of schizophrenic mess. So either just get back to front loading it so we can get it out the way, or just throw a big separate presser all about EA Sports.
EA Sports Direct.
EA Sports Direct. And then, do concentrate on Madden at EA and FIFA at Gamescom so people on either side of the Atlantic don't get totally bored. Depending on what comes up, because that was one of the main things I saw on Twitter.
Cross the streams, EA.
Europeans going, "Oh my God, Madden, why?" And then when it got onto FIFA, the entire American audience going, "This is an American show. We don't care about this. You're boring, EA. You're boring. Stop boring us. You're boring."
There is
even Idris Elba couldn't stop that being boring.
Yeah. There's one thing that we haven't actually mentioned. I think we should very quickly cover it. Mirror's Edge.
No.
They didn't show us.
Why?
Because they showed off some preliminary stuff and it did look pretty cool. However, I am gonna pick a fight with you over the guys who's you guys saying that why did they add combat? I quite like the up close stuff. The gunplay was awful, but I quite like the close quarters combat.
That's different. The close quarters stuff is fine. If they focus completely,
they didn't show
on
her shooting
physicality
one gun during that presentation, so I don't know.
Yeah,
what
that's the
problem.
key. That's what that's what we were all saying. That's what I put in. That's what's in the article. That's what in the thing. If they focus on the physicality, that's exactly what they want. That totally works in character. That's fine. That's actually what we want. Because running away is totally great, but running through them is even better. That's what we want to be doing. That's in there. That's written down. Don't worry.
That's okay then.
Yes. And EA were crap. I give them 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm giving them 3 out of 10 as well. That was God.
Yeah.
Thankfully though, no, not EA. Ubisoft swooped in, close behind.
Another class act, and that were totally. The thing I like most about the Ubisoft press conference is that they were totally up for having a bit of fun. They were up for having fun. They were like actual people having fun with video games. You rarely see that in a press conference. It was just a joy to watch from start to finish.
I enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
I know Aisha Tyler is not necessarily to everyone's tastes, but I think she rocks that presentation.
Yeah, but she should be.
Yeah, it was
Frankly,
a really great press.
Right.
Can I just want to say as well, like, I really liked the dancing bits. I really liked that they, like, for 5 minutes just turned it into a party and then had like two men do rather amusing press ups. And that was entertaining.
Yeah,
it was actually entertaining.
It was. I mean, compared to doing a rubbish little esports 10 minutes of crappy rubbish, like, they just showed people having fun with games and being excited about games. That's great. Would have liked to have seen a bit more for that, but we kind of had to wait for, well, a couple of things from Sony and then Nintendo to do that. But, yeah, I mean, otherwise they showed some pretty exciting games. Unity looks good. Right?
It looks like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I mean, it's unmistakably next gen. I mean, those crowds are huge. Big old crowds. Weird English voice acting. Like, apparently all French people speaking cut-glass English accents and like West Country accents, but, you know, Ubisoft can just blame that on, oh no, the Animus is malfunctioning. So they've kind of covered their bases there. Looks like fun.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll miss the naval combat.
Just a little bit. I mean, it was interesting to get a glimpse of that, of those sort of dynamic missions. It's an intriguing game.
Yeah, I love the idea of, like,
you're in a box, John.
I love the idea of 4 total randomers running about and just completely failing to be stealthy all the time. I really, what I hope is that, because you've got 4 players, if that is actually campaign co-op, if that is actually full campaign co-op in story missions, they're not going to really be able to do all those rubbish instant fail objectives anymore. Because that's going to be horrible if there are 4 of you. Constantly, your tailing target saw you, so now you have to go back 5 minutes and do that whole bit again. You can't do that in multiplayer, that won't work. So, you know, hopefully Ubisoft can design big, nice sandboxes rather than crappy instant failure.
Yay!
Yeah. There was some other cool stuff as well. That fitness game looks awesome. That looks like, I forget the name of it. Like,
Shape
having
Up.
fun. Shape Up. You know what? Like, I would be super fit right now rather than a fat pie if fitness was actually fun. If I could have fun while being fit or getting fit and, like, enjoying myself. This game looks like it might be able to do that. I'm excited about that.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like gamifying workouts it's tried and tested. Like, Nintendo did really nicely with it with Wii Fit, and this looks like it's just taking that even further. That piano thing looks kind of awesome.
Yeah, it really does.
Like Rock Band fitness. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly what we want.
Well,
I was going to say, it's exactly what we need. Exactly what I need, because, man, my cholesterol, damn.
But speaking about things that we wanted, I said going in, I wanted to see a new Rainbow Six, and Carl, this is a direct quote, said that the Rainbow Six Siege reveal got you most interested.
Yeah.
That is high praise from Carl.
Yeah, it did. Well, yeah, overhaul, that was definitely the highlight. I guess just it's all early days. I mean, you know, it did look a little ropey in terms of visual prowess, but in terms of, like, the way that you can blow up the walls and do different approaches and things like that, it certainly looks really, really cool. And yeah, I just want to see a bit more of it next year, probably.
This.
I want to see more campaign. Is what I want to see now. I want to see some campaign action, because I love the multiplayer. That looks like the multiplayer looks like exactly what I want from a Rainbow Six game. I want to see, like, I want to be able to breach and clear through any surface. That's what I've always wanted from Rainbow Six. It's been too long since we've been able to do that. Way too long. But yeah, getting the campaign right is going to be clear. It's really important that they don't try and tell some emotional storyline. They need to be focused on awesome tactics all the time. And Terrorist Hunt is always the shit as well. I want to see that come back, because, like, the sort of randomized co-op where you've just got to clear a big building that, you know, changes up enemy placement and challenges each time. That's going to be great. Hopefully, we'll see some bigger multiplayer maps too. Like that was quite an intimate multiplayer match that we saw. Sort of, it was 4-on-4 or 5-on-5. Like that's cool, but like we need Calypso Casino.
Oh God, yes.
We need to see like 16 players smashing in through like hotel ceilings, rappelling down lift shafts, walking down the side of skyscrapers, upside down, shooting people through the window. That's what we need as well. Like if they can deliver on all of that, it honestly was one of the absolute highlights of the show for me. But they've got their work cut out now.
I just really
I'm
loved.
excited. I'm ready.
I just really loved the. Oh shit, we can't get in through there. What are we gonna do? Blast a hole in the floor.
Yeah.
Any floor.
Damn
yes.
straight. That's what we need.
That's
Breach
what I
and
want.
clear.
That's what I've kind of always wanted Frostbite to be able to do, but it never does. It's always disappointed me slightly in that respect. This just there's no doorway. Make a hole. They actually said that at one point. I'm just gonna make a new door in this wall. Yes.
Yeah. Damn right.
Yes.
It's been too damn long. I'm so up for more Rainbow Six. And you know what? Far Cry 4 looked good. It's a shame that they held back the awesome gameplay until the Sony press conference. Because it was nice to meet the new hero, but I would have, and the new antagonist, that all looks really fun, but I much rather would have straight away liked to see Elephant drop in multiplayer helicopter, ridiculous, awesome wingsuit.
They've got Little Nelly.
Right from the get-go.
Little Nelly is in Far Cry 4.
Yeah, Little Nelly and Nelly the elephant. Big Nelly. Yeah, dynamic elephants.
I've got to say, I was a little disappointed that they didn't. Well, I suppose they make quite a lot of the Division, but I would have liked to have seen more from that and the Crew, being games that were announced last year, and sort of we got looks at them last year. I would have liked to have seen them brought to the fore a lot more, as in like this is our true next gen shit.
I
but I'm still quite excited for both of them.
Yeah, they're going to have to go big on the Crew at Gamescom because we needed to see more gameplay really on that.
Yeah,
the time lapse thing was cool, but that's one of their big Christmas games. They need to amp that, and they needed to reveal Beyond Good and Evil 2. Damn it! Bring that to Gamescom, Ubisoft. Bring it to Gamescom. I feel like they will. It's a European developed game. It would seem like the perfect place to announce that. You better do it, Ubisoft, or so help me, I will complain about it on the internet. That's like literally it. That's like the most. That is like the most I can do. But I will.
I thought you were going to say you would march into their booth.
I will bitch about it.
Sell like.
No man, I will write some cutting articles about it on the internet.
I will get a pig.
Nah, get an elephant.
Dress him up as Paige. Pidge. Pidge.
Rainbow Six Page treats. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Ubisoft, strong, solid, great, fun. Real people having fun with games. That was great to see.
It was good stuff. Scores?
I would give them an 8.
Carl?
I would give them a 7.
I'd probably give them a 7 as well. Good solid showing from Ubi. Liked it a lot. Right. Let's get on to the totally not tight, ridiculous monstrosity of a presser that was Sony's 2-hour fest on Monday night.
I think the thing is, like, at the time, remember, it was about 3 in the morning.
It was. And
our patience was wearing a bit thin. And we've got to separate out, like, the cool reveals from the the very bloated and kind of arguably not hugely well-planned press conference. Because the press conference was a bloated mess, but you know what? There was some good stuff in there. There was some really nice stuff in there. Like... Well,
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky stole the show. I will almost certainly play that on PC, but you know what? It seemed to me like that game would be just such a great fit for Morpheus. So hopefully they're going to make a big deal of that. I really want to get into that. That was super exciting. I just thought it was amazing that considering all the games on show and considering the massive, like, sort of pomp and circumstance of the Sony press, like a bunch of blokes working out of a flooded lockup in Guildford stole the show. Man, I love to see that. No Man's Sky looks great. Hello Games, just such a classy outfit. Can't wait for that.
I love as well that the second greatest thing, well, actually, no, like for me, it was the greatest thing about that press conference was the return of Grim Fandango. Can we just pause for a moment and revel?
Matt, put your shirt, Pat, put your shirt on. Put your shirt back on.
Never.
Put it on.
Never. Taste the nipples of excitement. No, don't.
Holy crap, is that a man-eater too? That is, isn't it? Man, you're really excited. But seriously, put your shirt back on though. That's that Manny tramp stamp is a bit
Oh
special.
man, like Grim Fandango, that is just yes.
Yep. So
and it's coming to PC almost certainly as well.
Yeah, well, it's coming to PS4 and Vita, but yeah, Tim Schafer said they'll talk about other platforms soon. So yeah, I think we can expect it. It must come out on PC. And with all due respect, I kind of hope like they tighten up the sort of tank-style movement controls just a little bit.
That'd be nice.
That'd be great. But yeah, I mean that's super exciting. There's nothing says next gen like 15-year-old point-and-click adventure games. Hell yeah. Yeah, but you know, Sony showed some more good stuff. I mean, Bloodborne was always going to bring the house down. That looks really fun. Don't get me wrong, I am not the biggest. I respect Dark Souls and Demon Souls, but I don't love it, if you know what I mean. But goddamn, they're really good at creating really compelling universes to be in. I'm really excited to see what they do with Bloodborne. Looks awesome.
Yeah, Carl, as our sort of Dark Souls from Software aficionado, how was seeing Bloodborne announced?
Pretty good. Pretty much looks like they've taken the wonderful kind of like Victorian-esque aesthetic from The Order, or even like Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs, and really given it a good twist. Machine for Piggies. Yeah, I mean, it looks really, really cool. The fact, we're going to have firearms this time around is a nice mix, I guess. But other than it being a horrible, horrible, cruel, cruel world, we don't really know that much about it yet. But yeah, it definitely looks good, and the fact it's got a name is also good news.
Is a From Software exclusive enough to sell you on a PS4?
It raises my interest bar a fair bit, I would say.
What about Little Big Planet 3?
Actually,
because
yes.
That's how you introduce it. Because that's how they did it. They just walked on stage and started playing it. That's what we want. That is the tightest direction I've ever seen. No flam even. They just walked on stage and said, "Here it is. Yay!"
Yeah.
It's so clearly live as well.
Yeah, brilliantly live. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's a family game. It will shift PS4s at Christmas. It definitely will. And yeah, even though it's not Media Molecule, it, like you've said, John, it's going to be charming as hell.
Yeah, it's Sumo Digital and XDev. They know what they're doing. XDev helped out with Tarsier on the amazing Vita version. So my only worry is though just a little bit. Like I feel like the franchise is kind of moving sideways a little bit, because adding in loads of extra characters is what a franchise does when it's really racking its brains as to where it can possibly go. And what I do like is that the whole family friendly thing is going to be that bird is going to revolutionize how families play that game, because like dads can play it with their little kiddies, and when their little kiddies can't use the horribly floaty mechanics and get up there, which by the way I think serious, but I mean that they did not cover themselves in glory mechanics and physics wise during that show. But if their little kids fail to get up a hill, like daddy can just fly the bird down and pick him up and bring him over without having to take the controller out of their hands. I think that's great. I think that's a really nice little addition, even though that bird is now like new Tails. You're going to be like butting your head against loads of really floaty jumps, or the bird's flying over going, hey Sackboy, come up here. Oh no, wait, you don't have wings like I do. What? I'm the king. But yeah, it's got all the old maps, and that means I can hopefully transport all of my half-finished tanks and tank prototypes over to the PS4.
Sausage Mobile!
And the Sausage Mobile. I want to do that. Obviously, I want to do that. So yeah, good show. That was really fun. Like, I think all my misgivings about the physics aside, I don't even care about that because I love Little Big Planet. I'll be playing that.
Yeah, I think as you said, the fact that the 8.7 million community maps that have been created across Little Big Planet 1 and 2 will be available with enhanced graphics straight off the bat for free. Is just it's so great. And it's a game the PS4 needs. Microsoft have Project Spark, which is still in beta, but it's proving to be incredibly popular, and the stuff that's been created on that is exceptional. And PlayStation have always been a home of that sort of play, create, share mantra. It's important that continues, and yeah, I was looking forward to a Little Big Planet reveal. I'm really, really glad that we got it.
For sure, and there was other stuff too. There was lots of cool multi-platform announcements and lots of quite boring multi-platform announcements. I think the less we say about their little break in the middle, their sort of half an hour of suckage, the better. But they did at least announce some cool stuff. The Vita was I think for me, Vita and Kinect were like the ghost of the feast this year. Like, those devices got such short shrift. And especially the Vita is such a lovely piece of kit. I feel like it really deserved better from Sony. But at least the PSP, the PlayStation TV has been announced. Apparently it's going to cost $84.99 over here with a DualShock 3, according to T3, according to the latest intelligence.
God, can't we have a DualShock 4? Please.
No, you've already got a DualShock 4 though, so that's fine. You can probably buy it soulless. And I mean, that's a cool device. I absolutely don't need it because I have a Vita and I have media streaming things, but I probably won't be able to resist it. But yeah, I feel like it's a shame that I feel like, well, actually one of two things could happen. Either it will mean that less imaginative Vita games start coming out now so they can be used with that device without the touch screen and the backpad and stuff, or it will actually ignite developer interest in it. Hopefully that's what happens. And yeah, PlayStation Now could be really fun. We hopefully are going to get some more details on that at Gamescom. It's always nice to know that there's a new way to play old games. That's cool. And of course, Uncharted.
Yeah, we got that at the end.
You know, we got that at the end. At least they had the decency to show in-engine stuff. But for me, I felt they showed good stuff. But not only was the presser overlong, but I feel it just lacked a little bit of wow factor. I feel like Sony coasted it. I would have liked to have seen one or two more really big, huge, massive Megaton announcements. Something from Sony Santa Monica or Guerrilla Games. One of those two things, like either sort of new God of War or that Guerrilla Games RPG, or both. I feel like they really needed that. Especially because their pacing went to shit in the middle.
Yeah, we worried about Sony in 2014.
Yeah, it's the classic long game. Microsoft are always about the short-term games. Sony play the long game. They keep you waiting a little bit, but when their first-party studios get up to speed, greatness happens. So, you know, it's all about, you know, do you want to play really cool games this Christmas and look forward to some good stuff next year, or do you want to hold off a little bit, play a whole ton of Little Big Planet, and then know that the big franchises are coming next year? Also Drive Club. It was also, do you know what? It was also nice to see a bit of PlanetSide 2 being shown to the Dude Bros as well. Good, about time. Bit of H1Z1 probably wouldn't have gone amiss, but hey.
That's the thing. There are a lot of things that I was hoping for from this presser that we didn't really see. I mean, it's unfair to kind of judge it in terms of those expectations, I guess. But I don't know. I just, as a PS4 owner, I felt a little flat, a little disappointed coming out of it, I suppose. A lot of that did have to do with the fact that it was 4 a.m. and the whole thing was really bloated, and they could have cut almost an hour out of it, and that would have made it so much better. But yeah, a lot of stuff to be excited for. A lot of sneaky kind of a sort of Microsoft tactic here with third parties. The PS, like Carl, you mentioned in your reactions, the PS4 version of GTA 5. It almost looked like they were trying to poach a few 360 owners.
Yeah, with that whole sort of like, oh yeah, you can transfer it over from PS3 and Xbox 360. I mean, obviously, we've learned since that it doesn't really matter if you, well, with the exception of the PC version, which I haven't confirmed, but if you're going for the current gen remakes, then yeah, it doesn't matter which old platform you played it on, it'll transfer over. So yeah, that's kind of sort of made it null and void. But it was a nice little sort of like jab that they tried to do. Anyway.
Yeah. So do you always bring the not so subtle smack talk?
Which is a shame, because this year, actually, Microsoft were very nice to them.
They were.
They started their presentation by saying, Sony are great, everyone's going to have a great E3. Spencer was tweeting them all the time, and then Sony was going like, Xbox, come over here.
Coming out like,
you want to play Destiny? Well, you can't. But, see, you know what? I mean, there's some good stuff in that show. It's just, I feel like if we were there and it was like early evening local time rather than 4 in the morning, we would have probably enjoyed that press conference a lot more. But there was some good stuff in there. I just feel like they kind of coasted this one.
Mm.
I feel like they didn't quite push the accelerator as hard as I wanted them to. But you know what? They always give a tremendous Gamescom showing. That's the thing about Sony. They always deliver at Gamescom as well.
They do.
Always. So hopefully they'll show us what Media Molecule are working on, loads of cool new franchises, loads of cool old franchises. So I think it's going to be game on in August.
All right, so scores for this one? George Dawes, what are the scores?
In the cold light of day, and now that we've had, some sleep, I don't know, I'm tempted to, I'm going to give it a 6.5. I'm going to give it a 6.9, actually. I'm going to 6.9. It's symbolically a bit less than Microsoft, but a lot of that just comes down to their pacing and that bald bloke talking about a thing we just don't care about.
I'm giving Grim Fandango a 10 and the press conference a 6.
I'm giving it a 6.5.
Okay.
Somewhere in between.
Okay, so that closed out the day of press conferences. And then yesterday, of course, we had Nintendo's E3 Direct, or the Nintendo digital event rather, and it started in the best possible way that I hadn't even imagined. I didn't even figure out that there could be Robot Chicken Nintendo. Yes.
Yeah, it was quality.
Can
it
we have that on a
was
DVD,
absolutely
please?
bloody brilliant.
That was, and then Reggie versus Iwata to introduce Mii's in Smash Brothers. That was absolutely brilliant, and a very cool feature, like a really cool feature. Do you know what? I was grinning from ear to ear throughout this press conference. There was there's a major negative that we'll come to, but I just want to this had personality and charm like brimming forth. It was
a joy to watch, wasn't it? I mean, even more so than the Ubisoft event, it was an absolute joy to watch. Nintendo kept it tight. They were fun. They were exciting. They were engaging. They showed passionate people talking about games that they were making. And critically, after so many years, Nintendo has finally realised that the best thing he can possibly do in an event like this is to bugger off. Is to do some funny stuff at the beginning and then leave and let other people, skilled, passionate people, talk about the games they're skilled and passionate about.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? They showed some great stuff. Super Smash Brothers, I thought that was brilliant because they didn't bog down. They could have easily spent about 20 minutes talking about it, but they didn't. They just showed some great gameplay, revealed a couple of new characters. The Mii things were great. The NFC stuff is cool.
The extra modes.
The extra modes look great, but then they said, right, this is happening. Let's move. Let's go. Let's do this. We've got a lot of ground to cover. And they did. They showed us. They spent quite a long time showing us Yoshi's Woolly World, but that was fine. That's a game that I need in my life.
I want to give it a hug. It's like a hug.
I want to play that game so bad. For me, that was one of the games to show. I really just was. I just want it. It's going to be a game I'm going to lose myself for hours in with just a big stupid grin on my face the whole time. It's going to be awesome. Zelda. I think we should get on to Zelda in a little bit, actually, because as you said, there's a big negative coming up. I think we should talk about all that in one go. But they did show some really cool stuff that's coming soon or that's happening this year, like Platinum brought the house down, saying, hey, look, Bayonetta 2 is going to rock your world, and also you can buy it with Bayonetta 1, and also you can dress her up as Samus. No new Metroid game, but hey, like, Zero Suit Bayonetta is a thing that delights
She's
me.
basically already in the Zero suit, just painted
Yeah,
black.
she has a hairsuit Samus.
Hairsuit Samus.
But Platinum Games are extraordinarily brilliant at what they do. Like, they're really good at like a few specific things, but they are so good at delivering on that. Man, Bayonetta 2, that's day one for me. I cannot wait.
It's going to be fantastic. And as you say, like the bundle with Bayonetta 1, that is genius.
Genius. They showed us, Mario Maker. Man, why didn't they think of that before? That's a brilliant idea. Making our own Mario courses, that's also going to be an awesome way to use the gamepad as well.
Yep.
What a great idea. I'm so up for that.
And again, it's something. The thing is, it's something that gets the community involved as well. It's basically printing content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. It was a really, really good idea. Splatoon looks great. I felt they're going to have to prove that territory capture mechanic is actually fun.
Well, this is the thing. Like Carl,
sounds like a good idea, but it could also really not be a fun gameplay experience.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned this earlier, Carl. This is how you deliver a colourful game presentation.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think we've all said this. It's a really unique take on the gun third person shootery style stuff. And it was a very Nintendo way of producing it. It's just fun. The whole squid thing's a bit weird, but at the same time, like, it kind of grew on me in the idea of, like you say, capturing territory and then using yourself to propel yourself halfway across the map. And it just seemed like the more that little presentation went on, the more I was thinking, this is actually really, really fun looking. I would quite like to play it. Because like, imagine sort of like trying to do this in sort of like team-based thing and sort of like paint everywhere and squids jumping. It's just look fun.
It looked great. It looks so brilliant. And do you know what? It sort of highlighted a crucial difference between the Nintendo press conference and the EA press conference, which both used kind of dev demos, but they were just so much more personable in the Nintendo ones, like interspersed completely with gameplay, plinky music in the background, and people just delivering information that was useful, that we wanted, that related to what was going on screen. And it's a new IP.
That's always good. That's always great to see. But I think it's probably time to talk about a few of the big stuff, because they finally revealed. This was almost kind of bittersweet, because let's face it, Zelda almost stole the show. When Aonuma came out and said, so yeah, we use Zelda, look at how shiny and open it is, I lost my shit. Like, I went absolutely, I think I blacked out. It looked absolutely stunning, because he's been saying he's been wanting to work on a really shiny, properly open world Zelda for years, and now it's happening. My God, if that actually is representative Wii U gameplay, if that really is what that is, my God, we're in for a treat. It stole the show. It broke the internet. But the problem is, for me, like, Nintendo forgot to announce it. Because they basically said, so new Zelda's happening, but then sort of said, oh yeah, here's Pokemon, leaving us saying, what's it called?
Did that just happen?
Did that actually just happen? Like, they came just within a hair's breadth of just winning E3 outright with one reveal, but then got bored and wandered off. Like, I just feel, for me, like, that project needed a name. It just needed a little bit more time as well. And for me, it was annoying to see that the presentation was only 45 minutes long, when they could have actually filled that extra 15 minutes with a lot of really cool stuff. And the same goes for X, or should I say now, Xenoblade Chronicles X. Do you know what? You must know by now, I am just such a huge fan of Xenoblade Chronicles, and it's a game that deserves unconditional love. It was superb. It was the perfect blend of great JRPG gameplay with real-time, awesome tactical combat in a truly massive open world. The fact that they got that running on Wii was amazing. But now they're working on Wii U. We're also getting mechs. We're getting an awesome sci-fi setting. Also mechs. Massive mech fights, fighting massive monsters in mechs. But they didn't show us any gameplay.
No.
They just showed us a really shiny CG trailer that looked a bit like Project Sylpheed. And sort of, it looked a bit like, what was it? Like a Battleship Yamato, kind of. They showed us some really cool kind of CG kind of anime stuff. But they didn't show us gameplay. And once again, that 15-minute gap at the end, they should have shown us something else. Because again, they came so close to just bringing it home, absolutely nailing it. And then, I don't want to descend into crude sexual metaphor here, but just when they're about to bring it home, they pulled back and moved on when they should have really pressed that advantage. I've been excited about X ever since they first teased it. I just don't feel quite like they made enough of it.
There's a sense, I guess, that Nintendo came, like as you say, like with the whole thing really came incredibly close to just blowing up E3, just rocking it completely. And we thought there was just a little bit too much that was left unseen and
unsaid and
unannounced, and a little bit too much that had the dreaded coming 2015 after it.
Yeah, like even the fact that I'm pretty sure like Yoshi's Woolly World is 2015, isn't it? Like that was I'd really hope that was coming out this year. And yeah, it does look a little bit skinny this year. I gotta say, Nintendo's lineup just didn't quite. I mean, yeah, Mario Kart, Super Smash Brothers. Hell yeah, I'll be playing that. I'll be playing that for months, definitely. But they came so close to just completely clinching it. And I would go off on one complaining about all the missed opportunities, especially Miyamoto. What the actual? Why didn't you show those games that you teased in that 15 minutes? There's a new Star Fox title, for God's sake. Why didn't you show that? Why didn't you show that? Why didn't you show us that? And yeah, I'm not gonna bring the rain. I'm not gonna rain on the parade because you know what? Nintendo held a really solid, really exciting, really well presented, really enjoyable press conference full of games that I want to play. And that is the first time that's happened in quite some time. I have a Wii U. I already love my 3DS, but I've had a Wii U since launch. I've always been pleased that I own it, but now I'm really chuffed. I'm really happy I own one. But for me, the difference is I already own one.
That's the thing.
That's the thing. I have
Carl,
one.
You don't have a Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
Did this make you want to buy one?
It's the same old thing of we'll see next year.
Please understand.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like I've been teetering on the edge for a while, and I still might because Mario Kart looks so freaking good. But when you deliver a presentation like that, which was packed with quality, but predominantly features coming 2015, you give no one a reason to buy it now, and that's. Yeah, it's the same thing we've been saying all along. It's like, I really like the look of the Wii U, but I'll wait a couple of months and see. Or 6
Yeah,
months.
though at least I suppose that because it's a Nintendo Direct, I mean, it is predominantly being blasted at fans. You know, it's not a press conference as such. It was for people who already own it. People who already own a Wii U are feeling warm and lovely inside, and they're counting down the days until Yoshi's Woolly World. But yeah, if you don't own a Wii U, I feel like you'd be watching that presentation going, for me, all they needed to do was give New Zelda a name. That was it. That was literally all they needed to do. They just needed to be a Zelda, the open world style looking like Wind Waker game that you will buy a Wii U for coming 2015. Just there on the screen. Should have done that.
They should have done that. It's important to note that Nintendo, out of all of them, stressed, we've got more to show you. I'm not sure why they didn't in that video, but like they're immediately after it wrapped, there was Devil's Third's an exclusive. And
what?
Somehow.
What the heck happened there? That game was practically dead, and then Itagaki is now like, yeah, let's bring it to Wii U. I gotta say, that game has been in like crazy development hell. Yeah. I am very dubious about whether or not it's actually going to be any good. Very, very dubious, especially. But we'll see what happens. It's Itagaki, so it could and should be good, maybe. But
maybe.
But they also announced Mario Party 10.
Yep.
They also like
Well,
Miyamoto.
I don't understand why that
Fox.
wasn't in the show.
Miyamoto Star Fox. What? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's basically more of a gamepad mini game that might actually be delivered like an episodic TV show. Through the sort of eShop marketplace. It's designed to basically show off the gamepad. You actually use the gamepad to swoop around. I don't know whether or not that'll work, but I'm always up for new Star Fox. It's not quite my awesome Star Fox sequel that's matured with its audience that I was hoping for, but hell, I'll take it. But yeah, I thought, do you know what? I thought Nintendo was strong and solid, but they deserve a lot of praise for that. And all of those games I want to play. But I feel like they just didn't quite nail it. They just didn't quite. They were so close to nailing it, and they just didn't quite make good on some of the potential they had already in that show. For me,
agreed. Let's give it some scores.
8.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Because I own a Wii U.
Yeah.
I'm going 7.75.
7.
Okay.
Strong. Good
Strong.
scores.
So, let's do some quick winners and losers.
Yeah, should we do like personal? We can do like personal.
Like personal, a
awesomeness.
personal loser, personal best. Like, John,
Awesome.
take us away.
Right, are we going to start with personal losers?
Yes.
Right, The Order 1886. I'm sorry, but Sony had the opportunity to show us why we should be excited about their delayed shooter, why we should be excited about its innovative weapons and its awesome Victorian steampunk setting and its exciting gameplay, and yet they decided to choose a section of gameplay that showed none of those things. None of those things. What they showed us was a generic basement full of QTEs and awful tiny sections of really non-impactful shooting gameplay. Like just plinking a gun that seemed to have no recoil at a damage sponge. What were you thinking? That is one of the worst. It's like they picked. I hope it's that they were just complete idiots and chose a really bad bit of the game that was easy to polish up.
I don't know.
I hope that's not but my God, I hope that's not a highlight.
I've had these concerns about The Order for a little
My
while.
God, I'm sorry, but it looked like crap. It looked like arse biscuits. And like seriously, when you're trying to sell a game on the quality of its world building and its like awesome, unique setting, show us those things.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Carl, what's your shout?
I honestly don't know. I'm just trying to look through the notes. I think the problem is that nothing really stood out. I suppose EA,
baby.
EA.
You can say EA. Just you can.
Well, no. Let me get specific. Let's just say it's Sims 4.
The biggest reason for me was the fact that we didn't. I went into E3 expecting a reason, like justification for the PS4. And I didn't really get there was no Sony Santa Monica, there was no Gorilla, there was no Last fucking Guardian.
Oh,
which was
we
confirmed,
just shouldn't. We just shouldn't.
Confirmed to still be definitely being worked on. What?
That was just our fault for getting excited again. We should have known better.
Trolling.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's just Sony. And then no Polyphony, no Bend, no Sony Japan, who've been responsible for some mixed bag stuff, but generally really interesting. Puppeteer was fucking great. But yeah, I wanted more. I wanted more Sony from Sony. I didn't get that. So yeah, right. Let's move on to winners. Okay, your personal winner, John.
I want to say Rainbow Six Siege, because for me that was one of the really big announcements. I was really excited about that, and yet I think it might be Yoshi's Woolly World actually. That game, I've got to say, during that entire Yoshi's Woolly World presentation, I should be super excited for Crackdown and Platinum with Bayonetta and Scalebound. I am excited about all those things, but Yoshi's Woolly World just is a game that I just want to play right now. I want to sit down, whip the gamepad out, and just have fun with that thing. For me, I think that is actually my winner of E3. For me personally.
My cheeks hurt from grinning so much during that.
Yeah,
during
I know. And do you know what? That's fine. Games should be fun,
Yeah.
and that looks really fun.
Carl, give us your winner.
I don't. I honestly don't know.
Bloodborne, Splatoon.
Yeah,
Witcher?
let's go with that. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. The problem I've got is that I still haven't come out of E3 really particularly excited about anything. So yeah.
God damn it, Carl! You're gonna make a choice on this.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Is it? Oh, I bet I know what it is. It's Powers.
Oh no. No. I think he's just left.
I'm not dignifying anything of that.
We could just all cop out and say The Witcher won it again.
I was about to say The Witcher 3. Because it did technically appear during one of the press conferences.
It did, and man, it looked awesome.
But no, I'm not going to say that at all. I'm going to say this is a fairly, I suppose, boring choice, but it's a console seller. It's going to sell me on the Xbox One, and it's the Halo Master Chief Collection. I wanted that from this year's E3, and yeah, Halo. That's what I wanted. I'm going to buy one before the end of the year. And that's what E3 is all about. It's about getting us hyped up enough to splash some money. And Microsoft did that. They did that. So it's a boring winner, but I can't help that. It's my winner.
Sweet.
So yeah. So now it's time. Now it's time for the question. The answer to the question everyone's been. Oh fuck! I almost fell off my chair because I'm so excited.
That excited.
Who won E3?
Right.
We did.
Yay! Gamers won. Bye everyone. Or did we? Did gamers win? Carl doesn't sound like he feels like.
Carl, yeah, no.
I think my body won E3 because I managed to stay up throughout the entirety of the bloody press conferences.
That's because your body was ready.
I wouldn't go that far.
It's a shame your internet wasn't working because he could have just kept playing WildStar and just watched the chat window.
Oh yeah, I
The
do.
big reveals.
That would have been great if my internet stayed up and I didn't have to watch these Ubisoft and Sony ones on my phone. Yeah, thanks, Virgin.
Sort that out, Virgin.
Yeah, I winner. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm going to personally, I'm going to argue that in terms of E3, in terms of excitement, in terms of hype, I almost feel like maybe Microsoft and Nintendo almost tie this year. For me, personally. I feel like Sony are probably set to win Gamescom. But for me, I thought Microsoft got me excited about just games, and Nintendo did exactly the same thing. Games. I'm excited about all those things. In a way that I'm not excited about the Order 1886.
I can't.
18 QTE.
That was so terrible, and I don't care that it's been delayed at all. Now.
No, I'm quite happy that it's been delayed because they might be able to add some gameplay.
I think in terms of presentations, I thought Nintendo's was the best. It just had me smiling so much. It was unbelievable. In terms of, I guess, what I'm going to do now practically, which is buy an Xbox One. Microsoft. I didn't even see that coming, Microsoft. Well done. Just well done. Well done, Phil Spencer, as well, for being relatable and kicking things off with like that, just a humble thanks, and then getting straight to the games and I think it might be Microsoft. Microsoft might be my winner at E3. After CD Projekt, of course.
Yeah.
Obviously. So yeah, those are our thoughts, folks. But of course, we want to hear from you. Who do you think won E3? What was your favorite reveal? What was your lowest point in terms of the press conferences? Let us know your thoughts in the comments box below. And we will be back at the weekend with our Game Bars proper. But until then, thanks so much for listening. Tell us your thoughts. We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.